In July 2023, a pump jack bent its head to drill for oil in a basin north of Helper, Utah. A new lawsuit targets 145 Trump-era oil and gas leases in eastern Utah that say the Bureau of Land Management did not adequately consider environmental impacts or public input in the leasing process. A new lawsuit targeting Trump-era oil and gas leases in Utah takes aim at the former president's approach to fossil fuel development. Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance has filed a federal lawsuit challenging 4 decisions made by the Bureau of Land Management in 2018, 2019 and earlier this month, granting 145 oil-gas leases on more than 215,000 acres of public lands. Most rentals are located in eastern Utah in the Book Cliffs and Uinta Basin. This is like the poster child for everything that's gone wrong in the Trump administration's rush to cover public lands with oil and gas leases. SUWA staff attorney Landon Newell told the Salt Lake Tribune, "Unsurprisingly, when you rush to completely ignore the science and data to cover Utah's wild places with leases, you will obviously face public backlash and then put the agency in a difficult position," Newell continued. Newell. When the leases were awarded, President Donald Trump said he was ending the war on American energy. The Trump administration has pushed an energy dominance agenda manifested by rolling back regulations on fossil fuel development. The industry says these lawsuits aim to invalidate oil and gas leasing. No matter who leases it, keep it ground groups like SUWA are going to sue because they don't want any American oil and gas production, said Kathleen Sgamma, president of the Western Energy Alliance, which represents 200 oil companies. Whether under the Trump or Biden administration, leasing is done after careful analysis and land use planning examining impacts on wildlife, plants and other natural resources. Following Trump's announcement, oil and gas lease offers in Utah increased sevenfold from 2017-2020 compared to the similar period under the Obama administration. According to SUWA, the environmental nonprofit argues that the Trump-era BLM has skimped on environmental assessments and public input on oil and gas leasing. Federal courts generally agree. In 2020, a federal judge in Idaho ruled that the BLM under the Trump administration arbitrarily and capriciously limited public input on oil and gas leasing. The decision canceled 1 million acres of oil and gas leases. Later that year, a federal judge in Montana ruled that the BLM had failed to conduct proper environmental assessments before issuing hundreds of oil and gas leases, violating the National Environmental Policy Act. The BLM also suspended or re-examined Trump-era oil and gas leases in Utah. In 2019, SUWA challenged BLM over some of the oil and gas leases that are subject of this new lawsuit for failing to analyze climate impacts and greenhouse gas emissions. Shortly after this lawsuit was filed, the Utah BLM Office